Number 1. Simon Wright. Simon Wright is a professional beggar. The 37-year-old London man spends at least 8 hours each day and extra time on the weekends standing on the street of London begging for money. He dresses in ratty clothes and he walks with his dog. His area of choice is next to a NatWest cash point that is close to a railway station. Each day, thousands of commuters walk by and give him money. He makes about £50,000 per year. Each night he goes home to his £300,000 flat in Fulham. Begging on the streets of West London pays really well.
Tim Cook has been the CEO of Apple for 6 years now. He managed to accumulate a solid capital during all this time. According to various sources, his fortune exceeds $500 million. Just imagine that pile of money. Imagine how many things you could buy. However, Tim leads a modest lifestyle for a millionaire. He likes cycling and wearing simple office clothes. Also, his house in Palo Alto is only 2,400 square feet. That is practically a hut compared to other properties in the Silicon Valley. When asked about his lifestyle, Cook states that his modest lifestyle helps him remember how he started and where he comes from. Besides, he says that money is not a motivation for him.
Hoya, Yeli, Uganda. This is the story of a 16-year-old from Uganda who decides to start a paper bag production company, which doesn't sound like much. But Andrew Mapoya got the idea when the Ugandan government put a ban on plastic bags in 2008 because of the environmental damage they cause. Andrew was still in secondary school, and at the time, both of his parents had lost their jobs. Things weren't looking good, and he didn't have any money to get started. So he figured out what he needed to get started on a small scale, which was 36,000 Uganda shillings, or US $14. He got the money he needed by collecting 155 pounds of plastic bottles, which he sold for $11, and then borrowed the other remaining $3 from a teacher. While gathering the money he needed, Andrew visited local shops and other businesses around that needed paper bags since the ban on plastic. Turns out that the demand was huge, and to this day still remains a big business. The next step was learning how to make the paper bags. So Andrew went online and learned by watching videos. Today, Andrew's business is doing incredibly well, and his paper bag company employs over 20 people and produces more than 20,000 paper bags every week. And all the bags are made by hand since Andrew cannot yet afford a machine. But he's got a long list of clients from restaurants, retail stores, supermarkets, medical centers, and even Samsung buys paper bags from him locally. In fact, his company, Yeli, has made around 1,000 niche bags for local electronics stores. In 2012, Andrew won a $30,000 prize award that is given to young African entrepreneurs. We're sure he's got a paper bag making machine now.
Michael Engfors. 61-year-old Michael Engfors of Aspen, Colorado, was homeless for 6 years after losing his business and going through a divorce, but he never let his misfortune dampen his spirits. He was described by gas station clerk Gabby Garcia as a regular lottery player who only usually won $1 or $2. Some might say that there were more important things to be spending his money on, but Michael's bet paid off, beating the astronomical odds of 840,000 to 1. He won $500,000 on a $10 ticket. $500,000? That's $500,000. Imagine dropping that chunk of change into your wallet. What did Michael plan to do with all that cold hard cash? Where most people would have bought a mini mansion, or at least restarted their business, Michael only wanted to do one thing: to find his daughter, who he hadn't seen for over 20 years, Freeman. By all accounts, Grant Freeman shouldn't have been able to win the lottery, considering that there is no actual lottery in Nevada. An avid gambler, Freeman made his way to Las Vegas with high hopes of hitting it big along the Strip. Unfortunately, as so often happens, he instead lost everything and was forced to live on the streets, begging spare change off of tourists, only to spend it all on the slot machines that very same night. But he could only go so long before such an unhealthy lifestyle took its toll on him. Freeman got himself the heck out of Dodge, hitchhiking 40 miles to Nipton, California. It was there that he spent $2 on 2 Mega Millions tickets, which he paid for in pennies. I bet that cashier was amused. The lucky stars must have been shining on him that day because Freeman won on both tickets. $8 on one, and on the second he won an enormous $180,000. He has since reportedly turned his life around and has learned his lesson about gambling, though he is known to buy a ticket or two once in a while.